Go on, replay. Boom, check it out. Your thoughts on Market Cipher crypto face software. Is it overrated? Right, couple of things. I never watched that person, that human being who deserves all the respect that all human beings deserve in terms of like the rights assigned to human beings to deserve respect from other people. He deserves all of that, okay? Whether he deserves anything above and beyond that, I couldn't really comment. Crap all the time. Yeah, it's overrated, right? It's overrated. It's over. Anyhow, about his thing, is it overrated or not? I honestly don't know because I've never used it, but I'm pretty sure there's fakies for it, right? There's fakies, is there not? And if anybody got a name code, let's just do that. Oh, look at this. There's always, I mean, the guy's got millions of followers in that, right? So there's probably some. How to get it free? Let's just see, so I can try and see, because I've never really used it much. Are you using things for trading? Just let me know in the comments. So many, it's on the charts, is it? I think, right, sound. By the way, let's just Cipher, so everybody can know. A secret or disguised way of writing a code. A zero, a figure zero. He put murdering folk. You need to use both Cipher A and Cipher B together. Oh, beautiful. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for the instruction on that one. Let's just see, right, in terms of it. Well, I can't tell you from experience using this thing, but I can use my experience to tell you what I think about this thing over the next couple of minutes together. How about that? That's decent enough, right? That's decent enough. In fact, let's just make it a video, right? Try and help grow the stream a bit. Hi friends, are you interested in Crypto Faces Market Cipher? Well, I am, but I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to add these other ones that are basically the same thing that somebody else made, Fu Manchu, something like that. And we're going to then look back at the price action for a couple of assets and see if it's been any good for using or not. Like I say, never really used this one before, but I am an experienced trader. My name's Rocky Outcrop. I hope you decide to come back for a video sometime. If you look down there, you can see this is during a live stream. I will be relying on the instructions from my wonderful community to explain how to actually use this thing when we add it to the charts. Right, okay, cool, but we can probably figure that part out ourselves. Thanks for joining me. Let's take a look at this Crypto Face Cipher thing. So, I've been informed by AF Karimi that I need to use both Cipher A and Cipher B together. So that's cool. So I can show you how you add this thing to your chart. You go in there and you search for Fu Manchu, right? Is that what it was? Fu Manchu, and then you add A and B to your chart. Now, this has got divergences as well. That's interesting to see that divergences are a part of this thing. I'm not sure actually which one I've added already, so I'll just go ahead and remove the one I've added from my charts. This is a Ethereum chart that I've got open behind me at the minute, by the way, the 4-hour Ethereum chart. And I'll make it pretty. There you go. Oh, so pretty. And I'll add both of those things to this one, right? So Fu Manchu, it's like that. It's like that. There you go. There's your freebie. And then you add that one and you add that one. Did they both add? Let me just verify that they both added. Down here on this VMC Market Cipher A. Don't think I got B. So you have to do that process again. But you're glad you tuned in to this video, folks, hey? Just kidding. So there's B down. Oh, I did have it down the bottom. Right. So you got one down the bottom and you've got one at the top. Right, cool. So you need to use both of them together. AF Creamy, you got any more instructions for me on this one, or should I just figure it out from here myself? I've heard about 3 ambulances now, lol. Do you live in a rough area? Lol. No, I don't. If you want to know where I live, just go onto Google Maps, type in Edinburgh, the pin comes up, that's where I live. Right, Kaimak, brilliant, thanks so much, really do appreciate it. So, yeah, right, what are we talking here? So he uses atomic number, yeah, I use atomic numbers on my thingy. So AF Creamy, I need you to supply me with some instructions. Let's take a look at it now ourselves though, right? Let's see if there's any hidden information. This to me, just off the bat, looks like a string of EMAs. It looks like the EMA reborn that our friend Carl the Moon loves so very much. So it looks like that to me, a string of EMAs. That's interesting. I wonder if we bring up the options. Yep, it's EMAs, here we have them. It doesn't let you change the number, it's just a whole string of them. Kaimak. There you go, there's the thing, becoming a member, fantastic, cheers for that. So yeah, so what we've got more instructions here. The B shows potential buys or bottoming or topping. Cool, so the B's down the bottom, and it shows potential buys or bottoming or topping. So let's just bring up full screen. We've got a green dot here, it's a green dot, got a blue dot here, blue dots here, blue dots, red dots. So 4 hours is not great. I mean, I'll just look at it on the 24-hour time frame, so it kind of smooths things out a little bit for us first off, right? Because I don't want to have so many signals coming in, making me blind. So here, a little sell signal, interesting, right? Orange, or is that like a I don't know what orange means. I guess orange probably, if I made this thing, would be like there's your buy signal. Orange means tentatively look out to maybe have to close it. Don't reinvest or something. What is all this stuff? WT wave 1, WT wave 2, VWAP. There's a VWAP on here. Where's that part? That's that part, right? RSI MFI area is just a dot. This is not going to cut it as a video for folk back home. It isn't, right? It's too slow so far already, isn't it? Stochastic K, stochastic D. So so we've taken lots of different indicators and shoved them onto the one. Cool. Right, so you've got bearish divergence being shown on the thing. Well, that's something that we always look to anyway. We see it ourselves. I don't think that that's necessary on another indicator, but there you have it there. Bearish divergence is pointed out between those two, which we can see it's not actually RSI. So RSI. So let's just see how do a wee health check on this one and see if it's between that high and that high. There's bearish divergence. He's done it between the 6th of February and the 21st of February. 21st of February is up there, that high. 6th of February is over here at this high. That wasn't two distinct highs. There you go. There's a little bit of a failing in the indicator there, in the sense that you're looking at bearish. It's not. I mean, okay, maybe you could make a case for it, but essentially this is all one high. There's no. You would need to have a low in between, would you not? You probably would. Whereas, in actual fact, there was the actual divergence on this was actually from visible between the high over here and the high here. I'm making the same mistake there, but at least between these points here, I can at least say, well, look, we did see a 33% drop off in price, so I'd say that that's probably was a high, and that probably was a high thereafter. But between the 6th of February and later, did we see any highs really coming in here? Really, you could maybe say that's our 10% drop off in price. Structurally, and the look of the thing, it isn't though. It's debatable. I'm not gonna pull hairs about it, split hairs about it. What else do we have in this thing? MFI top bar. So he's just using a bunch of different divergence indicators. Or money flow. MFI stands for money flow index, and that is essentially it's like a momentum indicator where you can look for divergences, shaft trend cycles as well, overbought, right, oversold. So he just shoved everything onto the one, trying to shove everything onto the one on the one chart. So is it overrated? Well, yeah, it is. because it's a combination of all these. It's not invented anything new here so far by the looks of things. It's about so whatever, that's cool. Show MACD colors. Yeah, show the MACD colors. No, don't show the MACD colors. Oh, then we're looking here and we're saying bunch of moving averages, some sort of cloud structure. What have we got inside this thing? Let's put the RSI on the actual chart. That's what he's gone and done as well, even though it's on down below as well. So I just broke it by changing those two. Interesting. Cancel. It's just taking a lot. It's cool and everything. It's good. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. It's a combination of lots of indicators into the one thing, repeated as well a couple of times, just to make it so that it's really all really definitely in there, and that and then it points out things like potential zones for divergences. We talk about them anyway, and then we analyze the whys and the wheres for them. It's kind of more deconstructed on my charts than it is using this sort of thing. Is there any point in keeping this calling it Cipher? Not really. It kind of just makes it confusing, because that's like a secret code, and really it's not a secret code at all. It's all these known things together combined, and it isn't a cipher really. And what we're looking at here is that there is this signal telling us that we could go short on this one, I suppose, while we have this conflicting signal, I suppose, if that was a buy down there, saying that we could go long on this one. So then we have the orange dot just here at the same time as we're getting this red dot. I guess that's probably a function of that conflict inherently in there, and it boils down to the same sort of analysis that I've already given already, except I think that my analysis, where I'm looking at it saying bullishly divergent into the head and shoulders on the 4-hour time frames as we cross over the 50 exponential period moving average, with a view to going up and testing the 200 period moving average, at which point we'll be at a neckline of head and shoulders, which has a 60% chance of failing or at least pulling back from that point there. Then the next area up from that being $2,000, whereafter we could actually pull back down to 1,600 again afterwards as well. If we were then to see the moving averages cross over the way, that might all happen around about the same sort of time, where we can see things continue on afterwards. And explaining it using the individual components down below at the time is probably wiser, right? For this one, this is pointing towards the top side, the stochastics, telling us that, you know, there is a good chance that we could try up a bit here, but we've already spoken about how we're right at that point where we can see things turning around. Any given time that you actually go into entering a trade, there's always a degree of sort of having to take that risk and choose, like, what direction am I going to go on, and choose your reasons for it. Jumping down towards the 4-hour time frame, this just kind of underlines well, is that a buy signal? Yeah, buy signal on a 4-hour time frame, a sell signal on a 24-hour time frame. A little bit confusing when you force the issue with that and you make it so it's like you have to say which way you'd go. I've already explained it from a broader point of view, and then whatever mechanism you use to actually get in and out of trading yourself is probably fine. I don't think I'm doing you justice, Dan Anthony, with your question, because I didn't, because the easy, simple answer to your question was I don't know, but I'm trying to know over here. I'm trying to know for us with this one. This has got a blue arrow at the top. What does blue arrow mean? What's he calling blue arrow? He's calling it blue triangle. Oh, so blue triangle is the blue triangle bit, right? Cool. Okay, so I guess you need to know that's your cipher element there in terms of just vague stuff. But long EMA signal, short EMA signal, red and green, etc. Yeah, I mean, the moving averages, they look to be crossing over. If I just put my own moving averages back on, like TradeSpot said earlier on, I use the atomic covalent bond numbers in my moving averages currently. Oh yeah, I forgot. I hid them all. It's just like this, you know. So let me just show you the comparison of moving averages type of thing. So I use a few different moving averages. You can see the yellow and the green crossing over each other, the 8 and the 18 period, you know. That is something in and of itself. You can see then here that the 18 obviously lines up perfectly with one of these. The 8 period is right in the middle of that other zone over there. So you can see this is like 18. That'll be like, what will that be, like 16? That'll be like 20. That'll be 22. That'll be 24. Whatever. It's just a stupid ribbon of averages. And then up here you can see I've got the 54, which is beyond that. The highest this goes up to in terms of this thing will be about 30. About 30 or something like that. So it's not a very long period of moving averages. Doesn't really like give you any sort of distinction between short and long, which is essentially what you're saying is that most of these lines are redundant. Yes, that's essentially what I'm saying, is that most of the lines are redundant. That's the same with any sort of ribbon of moving averages where they're all right next to each other anyway. I mean, personally myself, when I'm talking about and I've got all my moving averages on screen, I think, God, it's overwhelming for people. How could they look at so many different moving averages and cope with it? Whereas, you know, this thing here is the same thing, but it makes it redundant. You know, the brain part redundant, and it lulls you into thinking that you're doing something you aren't really. As you can see, we got a cross between the 8 and the 18 here, and now we're seeing a cross between all these other smaller moving averages. Well, sure, right? Sure, okay. So when I see the 18 period crossing over the 50 period, it's probably going to be a more significant signal to me than say the 26 period moving average crossing over the 32 period moving average. I mean, for sake. So that's my feeling when it comes to moving average ribbons. You know, they don't really do anything for you, which isn't expressed in just simply not having them on screen. So if we look at this from a broader perspective, 1 hour time frame here, but looking at it and saying, look at this, look at where the blue one was, look at where the green one was, look at where the yellow one was, and look at the ribbon that's in the background. Let me just hide that off the chart there. Obviously, there's more to this than the moving averages, but you can see how we're getting all of that information from these individual lines, and it's a little bit better. So yeah, that elements of it's overrated. The divergence, any indicator which draws divergence on for you, is overrated, because it's a mathematical formula to do it, and it's not that worth it when you can see it yourself and make discretionary judgments about whether or not the lows are really lows or not, etc, etc. Also, you also see that I talk about things like the initial impulse up and whether that is divergent versus the last one. You have to think about what divergence really is and what it means, and what momentum really is and what momentum really means, as opposed to simply boiling it down to numbers. Nevertheless, it does seem useful. It does seem because the elements that you use to create the thing are in and of themselves useful. As you can see, I use the MACD, I use the RSI myself. Is it any more useful than things like the DMI? Not really. Is it any more interesting than knowing that the volatility part of the DMI has dropped down and become white to the point that we could see some sort of movement that might justify something thinking forward? I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. I'll have to leave it on here for a while. Anyway, let me just see. Rocky Outcrop always learning wants you to use your to see your moving average point periods. Cool. No problem. My moving average periods, I have brought them up a couple of times, kind of quick and by accident, but here you can see the colors, so yellow, green, blue, pinky, red, and white, is 8, 18, 36, 54, and 50. 8, 18, 30, by the way, but you can change this. I like my own preference, by the way. I use these ones, but my own preference for if I had to choose one moving average, so you put a gun to my head and said, you can't have all of these, what do you want? I would say, well, give me the 21 period moving average, right? That's my own personal choice. I've spoken about that a lot of times on the channel, but I'm using a combination of different ones. If I wanted to make this, the most basic way, what I would do instead is just do it like this, Peter Brandt style, essentially. Make everything else invisible, put the yellow as the 21, close all that off, take away the Cipher guy, and I would say, look, we've just taken the 21 exponential period moving out on the 4-hour time frame. If we can sustain prices above that, that's really, really good. We might even come in for a test of the 21 here on the daily. That would be great as well, although I would be thinking about taking profits at that point. If, of course, we do push on past that point then and continue up, that's great, because on the 3-day time frame we've come back down and retested the 21 exponential period moving average here a few times. So obviously we're in a position where, in terms of the longer term chart, as demonstrated very clearly here in the weekly, to continue a bull market for quite a while. However, the tolerance for us to be able to say where the prices could go down and test still extend all the way down as far as $10,000 or as $1,000, really, because we still are not fully past that point yet, whereby if we were to go down, well, actually no, we are. We've now arrived so high in the prices that should we go down past $1,000, you'd have serious concerns about the long-term viability of the trend. Last time we were down below there was March, etc. The last time we went down there below there organically, you could say, was over here in July 2019, and of course we spent the next 6 months sloping down the way as a result. So that price point comes in at $1,000. Wouldn't want to be holding on any longs past 1,000 with that point of view. But of course, here we have the chance of coming up and testing this, and like I say then as well, looking down towards the lower term time frames. If you're looking at this and saying that we've just captured the 21 and you're looking for an entry into trying to get up towards the top side, maybe you could try and say, well, I'll just try and enter off of the retest of the 21 on the 1 hour with a view to looking at all these different things, right? That's if you put a gun to my head and you said you needed to choose one EMA, what's it going to be? How are you going to use it? That's what it would be. That's how we would use it. Okay. If you're thinking to yourself, I just want to start simple, I just want one, what would it be? And then as well, if you're looking to then add to this, then you say, well, are you really like a scalper or a short-term trader? In which case, add a second one on and make it a smaller period. Try something like the 9 period, for instance, here versus the 21, and look for crosses on this thing on a lower term time frame in order to try and take trades off the back of it. Looking over here, cross here, nice one, good money, cross here, nice one, good money, cross here, nice one, good money, cross, didn't cross, cross here, very good money, cross here, good money, cross here, good money. Okay, so there's a strategy for you as well and everything. So there you go. But having said all that, I'm currently using 8, 18, 36, and 54. That's pretty good. I think that there probably could have made it into a clip for the old YouTubes. He's charging $1,500 for that, is he? He didn't even write any. Right, okay, so the blue waves are momentum, the red-green wave is money flow. Well, yeah, the MFI. So, right, money flow. Ooh, positive money flow. That's not really what it means. It's not really how money flow really works, but whatever. Okay, that's cool. Whatever, man. Look, the guy's successful, right? What do you want? Like, what do you, objectively, somebody could come along and say, you're a YouTuber and he's a YouTuber. He's a much more successful YouTuber than you. What are you doing? Trying to say anything negative about anything he does? And ultimately, I don't really feel like I've been that negative overall. So I'm not going to go on to become judgmental about it or anything. So just going to leave it at that. Really, overall, yeah, it's useful. It's useful for him. It's easy to maybe sell it to people because they're looking for a killer indicator where they don't need to understand any of the components to really just try and take trades off the back of. And if you're going to do that and you're wanting to spend $1,500 on it, I would say that the better advice would be to take that $1,500, trade using the crosses of like the 9 and 21 exponential moving average. See how you'd get on doing that. See how you get on doing that. If you feel like it's not working for you and you need to go extremely complex and also extremely unwilling to really learn anything yourself and just back off and buy an indicator, go for that. But then again, just use this free one. And yes, the yellow line is a VWAP. By the way, the A VWAP is interesting when you say about A VWAP. Okay. I just wonder how it's calculated, but anyway, yeah, you're right. Like A VWAP volume, weighted average price is a good thing to have. Again, it's just another one of these. Let me just stick the VWAP on here. Where have I got it? So hard to read their grey writing on the black background. TD, MACD, DC, Ichimoku, VWAP. There you go. Now how you use the VWAP is a regression to mean indicator. When we're above it, we're going back down to it. When we're below it, we're going up to it. This is the most essentially the essential use case for the thing. It's not so much a trend indicator as much as to say where we could be going next. As you can see, it's highly unsuccessful, and a lot of the times, and you're looking at it. When you're looking at it, it can be unsuccessful for you to trade off the back of it towards the end of close on a day. Okay, so if you're trading traditional markets, it's extremely important. Also, if you're trading towards midnight Bitcoin time, then it's extremely important that you're aware of the fact that on a daily basis the VWAP itself changes. There's another choice that you can do if you really are into the idea of average prices, is that you can use an anchored. Let me just go. No, wait, it's not in there. Sorry, it's in here. You can use an anchored VWAP here, and I could say, well, look, what if we took it from that day? This is where it reset because that was obviously midnight. Let me just check. Yeah, midnight. And then there's your anchored VWAP showing you the average weighted volume price over a period of days, and you can see that's just where we've come up to now. Come back up to the average. It's a regression towards the mean thing, and what purpose does it serve inside his thing? I have got no idea. I've got no idea what purpose it serves inside his one. But there you go. There's some interest there. That people might find that knowledge about the VWAP useful. I think he claims his VWAP is heavily modified. It's heavily modified because he doesn't want it to be reset every night, by the way. Dude, man, his claim there will be that, well, this wouldn't work if it got reset every night. We need it to be heavily modified. So, and then it's like, well, we could set it back to be so that it changes every 7 days instead. It's like, no, that's not going to work. We're going to need to make it so that it has a built-in moving average on it, so that we can regress. Instead of regressing to a 0 point, we can regress to a moving average of the VWAP itself over a period of a number of days as a moving average, so that we have a constant flow and 0 point line on it. Right? Heavily modified. There you go. That'll be what it is. Right, maybe one of the other 5 indicators, but he does like to say some part of it's heavily modified. Yeah, cool, man. I mean, it'll all be heavily modified, right, or whatever. But there you that'll be how. The blue triangle is supposed to be a switch in market direction. Sweet, thanks. Excellent, dude, man. Keep bringing me the info, man. Keep bringing me the info. Let's stick it back on again so we can see. Did I just remove it from the charts? must have just removed it from the chart. Here, look, if it turns out this thing's the greatest thing ever, then I'll eat all of my words about it. But I've not said anything negative about it itself. I just said it's a series of components, and that if you want to learn how to trade as a life skill, then that money that it costs to buy it, you'd probably be better off spending on learning to trade, right? And since spending it on that is the equivalent of chucking it down the toilet, how about you do a little strategy? And there's literally thousands of strategies that you could choose from, and you can choose your own or make your own up. It doesn't matter. Like, you could make up a strategy wait, let's make up a strategy in a second here. It's A that I took off the chart, right? So blue triangle, changing market direction. Well, the change in market direction happened down here and moved up the way. If it was down, no, it's kind of redundant. Red triangles seem to have worked here in a sense, I suppose. Kind of worked there as well. It's not a triangle, it's a diamond, isn't it? Changing market direction, the blue triangle's useless. Blue triangle is useless. So, brilliant answer, Rocky. Oh, Dan! Oh, thanks, man. Genuinely, you get like imposter syndrome up the wazoo when somebody asks you to do a question and you don't straight away answer and say, oh, I don't know, you know. But at the same time, it's like, I don't think I was covering anything up there. For anybody who's wondering why I'm even saying this right now, it's because I really value authenticity, and I'm never going to be disingenuous with my audience, right? Okay, so there's that. Sometimes my brain is heavily modified. Heavily modified, Lamau, totally. Nice. I might get heavily modified this weekend myself. Todd, if you know the George Carlin joke. 3,000 trend, I'm glad you could make it. By the way, Trey, nice to see you here. Nice to see you here, 3,000 trend. Good to have you. Look at this fantastic community. I'm so proud of everybody. Don't